There we go. We're live. We're happening.
We're happening.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, congratulations. I know you're joining me on the Gigi side, in other words, grandma side of the world.
I know. I'm so
How amazing is that?
I know. And yeah, Monique's in her sort of her 20 more weeks now, really heading towards 23. So she's just got this beautiful bump. Of course, she's doing Pilates every week, and me and Chloe go, "Our food babies are bigger than your baby."
Yeah, competition. Can we get rid of the baby bump before she can?
I know. There's going to be one time that Monique's bigger than us. That's what we keep saying.
Oh my gosh. And have they moved to their beautiful new home?
They do on the 30th, on Michael's birthday. They move into their beautiful new home.
Wow.
And so only a couple of weeks away. And yeah, it's very exciting. 8 minutes. Monique says it's 8 minutes. I timed it and it's 5 for me. But yeah, it's just up the mount. So it's going to be great, and we'll have little bubs coming to work every day, and so yeah, I'll get to spend a lot.
So will you get any work done, or will you be just hanging out? Yeah,
that's what they're saying to me. So my girls are saying to me that let's just get mum moving first, get all the systems, get everything out of her head that's still in there, because as soon as this baby comes, all she'll be doing is the sales, and she won't be doing any other stuff. So yeah, no, we're really sort of, I suppose everyone's found their position, and the role is for me to step out a little bit and just be predominantly the face, and obviously the person that tells people about what they're going to get when they work with us. So we've kind of been setting that in motion even before Monique fell pregnant. So it was just meant to be. So yeah, but we'll have a little room set up here. As you know, there's plenty of room.
Of course you will.
So yes, first granddaughter, and yeah, she's going to be beautiful, and she's got the beautiful Fijian Indian skin.
She does, yes.
So she's going to be beautiful regardless. But yeah, she's going to be sitting next to all the pale ones like us.
That's hilarious. I love that, and I have to say, having got 3 beautiful grandbabies. I got on Sunday, actually, I got the beautiful hugs. I'm like the grandchild whisperer. I just hold on to my grandchild and keep it really settled. And it was just delicious. But, one of my girls said, "Oh, do you want any more babies, Mom?" And I'm like, no, I'm really happy for my children to have babies, but I'm done. 6 kids, I'm out. So I've added my value to the children and the generations. Yeah. And
they're talking about having, well, Sanjay said 5, Monique said 4. Oh. So yeah, they're looking at having a few babies, and Chloe at the moment said, "That's okay, the pressure's off me. I'll just be the really great, fun auntie."
And she so will be. I love that. Yeah. All right, for the listeners that are joining us, we just have casual conversations here on the decision table. We really are at a stage that, I kind of decided to have these conversations every single day, because I found that it's really easy to kind of be having chats outside of the online space and hearing amazing things. And I just wanted to share it with the world, really, and realize that we're all human, and we all have those challenges. We have those moments where we don't feel like rocking up, or we have those moments that can get frustrating. But we also have wins, and because we are both in Australia here, we can talk on this side of it, because I know that there's been times even in your world, right, where we're celebrating wins. Where do you do that? How do you do that? Because it's kind of not been the norm. And I think that part of what I'd love to bring to the table is the fact that there are different ways in which we can now do things going forward. And because of that, I love looking through this month. The theme around the decision table really is looking through the lens of what I believe is the need for a new approach to leadership. And I think that there's this need for a new approach because there's so much of the old style of leadership that is not going to help us to keep moving forward, from problem to solution. So, what do you think, Susan, around the whole celebrating and the win side of it? Because we don't do that so well here in our culture. And in fact, many would say, and I agree, that you kind of get stomped down when you're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll put my hand up. I am shocking at celebrating my wins, and it was something that was brought up by my daughters. Personally celebrating my wins, because what would happen is it'd be like I'd be excited. We'd have a new client come on board, a new team member, as we call it, a part of our family, a new client. And I would just be like, I'm so excited. I've got this, new person joining us, and, they're going to be writing about this. And then I'd move on to the next thing. And there was never any, oh my gosh, Mum, do you realize what you've done? You've brought on this person. They're trusting in us. You've done all of these things. So you know what they went and did? They went and bought one of those old-fashioned brass bells. And so what we do is when someone joins us, we do that old, thing where you go and ring the bell. And the reason we did that is because as you know, the place here at Teen Manor is huge. And so Michael would be upstairs in the yoga room. He'd be the other end of the place, and he'd hear the bell, and he'd come down and he'd go, yay! And we'd all sort of celebrate the new person coming through. And at first I'm like, oh, really, ding-a-ling? It's like, okay, and now it's like I really enjoy it, and everyone's there to celebrate the new person joining us. And the other thing that we do is we give back to charity. So as a team, every one of my team members, from the designer that does the cover of the book to the editors, to the girls who are doing the admin and the general, the marketing, everything like that, every single person gets to say what charity that they want to donate to that month. And so then we sort of might pick a theme, like typically it's around education, youth education, that just seems to be obviously the theme, or giving books back to, to some schools and things like that. But then what we do to celebrate even more is we've said, okay, great. There's certain books that we sell. We give 100% profit back, the legacy book and books like that. Any sales that come through on Amazon or any of those, 100% goes back. And also when someone joins us, we also donate back. So now all of a sudden, not only am I excited about the new person that's coming on and how I'm going to share their message with the world, but now I actually enjoy celebrating. And it was always because it was like, but why do I need to celebrate? It was always about that. But now I've brought everybody in and I do celebrate. And then everyone comes running and everyone's excited for the new person that joins, but also for the charities that we're donating to. And I mean, gosh, some months we'll turn around and supply education for a child for a year and things like that. And just all different ways that now I feel good in celebrating. So that's what we changed. And it's funny that you bring that up, because it was something that was really something that we just didn't do, and I know I didn't do. And the girls, of course, working with your daughters, they can be brutally honest, which is a good thing, but they just said, you just don't celebrate at all. What would make you celebrate? And I said, okay, let's attach it to something that would excite me. If I was giving back, that would excite me. And so then they went, no, we're going to do a bell. We're going to make it fun. And so, now it's like, as soon as someone joins us, it's like, I love it. I'm excited to go and ring the bell, because I know that means everyone's going to come running in. Everyone's going to be excited. And we're all going to look at our little chart that's on the board next to the bell and go, okay, let's put a little mark there, because at the end of the month, I get to donate not only the sales, but also like the sales of the books, but also the new people coming on. So that's what we did, and it's really working well.
Do you find, or have you found, that it's changed when you're celebrating how other people think about you, or has it had sort of a domino effect, a positive, a negative? What's it been like?
Definitely a positive. It changes the energy, like in the office, the energy with the team members, because Chloe will like film ringing the bell and then text it out to all the staff, and then they know that means, oh, we're going to be giving back. So it's not just okay, the company made more money. It's like maybe that's not going to excite them, but everyone's excited because we've attached it to a giving. And so then just made it now that all the team, when there's a sale, it's not about money, because for me, I'm not motivated by money. It doesn't motivate me. It's not about that. And so for me, the motivation was, maybe for the males like Michael, he's like, he sets his goals and they're usually around that, obviously around fitness, everything else, but they're always.
They do have a few dollar signs in there when it comes to driving for him.
And that's guys. They like to accomplish and achieve, and and that's that makeup. But for us, a lot of females, it's about that nurturing and community at our core. And so for me now to attach the celebration of something that I just went, well, for me, it wasn't about the money, so why celebrate? It was about the excitement of bringing someone on and getting their book out there, but then it just didn't do it for me to celebrate. It'd be like, I'm happy and I feel great that they've chosen me to help share their story. Yeah. But that wasn't something that you ring the bell about. But now I've attached it to, well, there's a monetary figure that's coming in, which means a monetary figure can go out. And now all the team are excited. They might get, the little ding-a-ling of the message of me going out with the bell. And so then we go, okay, team, where do you want it to do? And I don't have to think about it. Monique will go out to the team and say, here's the 4 projects that you chose, and some people will choose two people will choose the same project, and so what we'll do is double up that money to that, and so now everyone's excited. So the ripple effect definitely is making me excited to celebrate, which is something we didn't do, and now the whole team is excited because maybe they're not going to be excited. I mean, my team's excited the same as me because somebody else has come on and they've got a story to share and they're excited to hear about the story. But never that monetary attachment was never something that was exciting for me, so now I've made it exciting. So I think it's just finding something that works for you but works for the whole team, and that's what we've found. And it's so great. It has that ripple effect, like I said, because now we're also all feeling like we're giving, and we're feeling like that we're all a part of something bigger than just ourselves or money or sales or, books. It becomes so much more. And I mean, who doesn't want to help kids around, education and things like that? So, that's kind of what we do. And we plant trees, obviously being a printing, we plant trees. So it's always around usually education and kids and trees, and everyone sort of picks the same thing, but not all the time, but that they get to pick what they want. So yeah, long-winded.
I love that. What about you personally? Sorry, are you celebrating your wins?
Yeah, my personal wins, as in, I do, but probably. I suppose I would probably need, I always look at.
I reckon, because she's hesitating right now, everyone. I know her really well. Yeah. I reckon she doesn't, just for the record.
But
here's the interesting thing, though, Sue. I think this is the interesting thing is what I loved what you said when it became business, when it was the family coming on board with the business, you could do it because it was about giving. Often when we are givers, and we are motivated by external, in other words, what it will do for others, how it will, affect others. And if we don't do it and it affects others, then that's a driver for us to get off our backsides to do it and to do whatever it takes to get that happening. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and in your case, this is a truth, it's harder to do it for yourself. But I was hoping that you had started having that ripple effect of bringing it back to you as well. Because here's the thing, I think this is part of the new approach to leadership, where leaders are really learning how to celebrate the wins that we do as an individual, that then has that ripple effect with community and then across the globe. Because if everyone is doing their little piece, it does shift the dial closer to where we want it to be across the globe, right?
Yeah. So are you talking about celebrating wins that of things I do personally?
I'm talking about whatever that looks like for you. As in
celebrating. When I ring the bell, when I'm doing that to me is me celebrating. And I suppose that the other way that I look at celebrating is, if I looked at personally, which again, it is funny that you bring it up, because it is something that is in my, my children brought to my awareness, but it's also in my awareness to do, and it's funny that when you have conversations like this, they're always the conversations you need. But some of the other things that I'm doing is balancing. So maybe celebrating, you could look at it like that, where I give back to me by going away, doing something with girlfriends, balancing it out. Because as you know, husband's adorable. I'm with him all the time, even more during COVID. No. Yeah. But, I'm with him all the time.
By the way, she is right. So if Michael does watch this, you are adorable.
Yeah. He didn't hear that, hopefully.
He's doing his exercise thing, right?
Yeah, he's doing his exercise thing upstairs. But he's, I'm with my husband, every day, which is great. I'm with my children pretty much every day. They work within the family business. We've all got our rooms, and as you know, we've got our space, and it's great. And having the 2 properties, it's like COVID was nothing. Like I could just pick a room or a corner of a house. I was fine. But what I realized I wasn't doing was taking time for me. So it was always about the family and giving and things like that. So what I'm consciously done this year is even marked out some time for me. And that might just be, hey guys, I'm out, don't contact me. I'm going to have, and God, I've even done it where I'm going on a Netflix binge, and I'll go and watch a binge. It's a nothing thing, but I don't have to think, because if I watch something too interesting, my mind's going, I could do that in business, I could do this and that, and I'm listening to this podcast. My mind's going like this around the business. So to shut it off, sometimes I do put on a Netflix blah show.
Okay, come on, stop. What's the latest show that you've watched or been watching?
No, I don't know if I'm embarrassed to say. No.
Come on.
I've been watching. I watched Lucifer.
I never got into that. I heard some people say it's really amazing.
I did. I got into Lucifer. That was really good. And there's one that I've just started.
I was about to say, is it Grizzly? But then I have to say, do you want to know what I did so I had 3 days off over the Christmas break. I say Christmas. Well, 3 actual days where I was like no work, no nothing. So that's why there were lesser days of work, but I definitely was. I had a lot of projects that I needed to keep working on. It's just a season I'm in right now. Anyway, I had 3 days, and one of them was Christmas Day, which I just served my family. I just felt like, the thing that was in control of my Christmas Day, because we were in total lockdown, we didn't have all the presents. There was a whole lot of, it was first world problems. I seriously think it is. And we had each other, and that was the main thing. But I just served my family. The next 2 days, I did exactly that. I just switched off and said, if you need me, I'm here, but I'm not cleaning up after you. I'm definitely not doing any cooking in this house, and I will be on my bed watching Netflix. Do you know what I was watching? Cartel. So I actually it was all about this cartel. It was amazing. It was awesome. And then I was going to ask you, was Lucifer Grizzly? So, it was pretty grisly what I was watching as well. But I loved it because it was totally outside of my wheelhouse, totally outside of my world.
And it makes you just go a little bit like I said, if I'm reading a book, my mind's going, oh my God, that's really good. I could do this. I could do that in my business.
I'm writing beside my book and I'm taking that little phrase, right? And I'm going, oh, that'll be a great social media post.
Exactly. My brain doesn't turn off. So when I watch that, gritty kind of stuff, I even watched a Sabrina. I mean, I watched a show. Remember the old cartoon Sabrina? There's like a real Sabrina now. And I even watched one of those and went, and I think there was another one, Bridgerton or something, that I just thought, I haven't started it, but it's this other one. But I try and actually look for ones, because they're only half an hour. I might finish up of a night and, might do like a late Pilates or something, and I might come in and go, right, I just want half an hour of blur.
It's that zone out, right? That zone out zone.
Yeah, and that's how I use it, and look, believe me,
so you haven't always done that? I haven't.
No, I think it's the on-demand stuff that I love. It's the TV. But just on that, with the Christmas thing, what we did this year is we actually, again, we donated. The girls turned around and they said, we don't want anything. But, being a mum.
Oh, wow. I know.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, right? So Santa bought them presents, so they couldn't tell me off. So when they were Santa. Yeah, so I was told not, and then they were like, we'll get really angry if you buy. And then, of course, I had to buy something for Sanjay, and I had to buy something for little baby coming, and I had to buy something. And then I had to buy something for Chloe, and I bought a top for Michael, which he hasn't had off, he loves. And it was just like from Santa, and they went under the tree. But as a family, we actually all sat around and we all donated. So I said, look, I would normally spend money on you. Santa bought them, not me. So what are we going to give? So everyone, we actually sat around and had time out just with us. It was a little gap between the breakfast and the lunches and everything else. And we all gave back. And so
I love that.
All of us done that this year instead of, and we done that. Gosh, I can't even remember what the girls picked now. I think 2 or 3 of us picked the same thing. I think I was giving back to the children's hospital or something like that. And then there was I can't remember what Michael and that chose, but 2 or 3 of us chose one, and 2 had chose the other or whatever. So we divided up what we would normally spend and just gave. And you know what? There was less wrapping paper. There was less running around at the shops. And that was the girls' idea, and they just said there's nothing that
girls, you're amazing. I love you girls. You're amazing.
So it's really cool this Christmas to do that. That's the first time we've done that, and we loved it because it saved me. You weren't really going to the shops anyway. It was funny what you can get at the Australia Post as you're walking down, like, okay.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Yep, that one. Amazon, by the way, Amazon was fantastic at that time for me.
I'm just not an online shopper. Monique is, believe me. We started to think the delivery guy, had a crush on her or something because he kept coming every day, but it was what she was ordering online. But anyway.
So here's a funny little thing, Chloe. I did that years ago. Literally, we didn't have a lot of money at that time, and I gave everyone. It was like the days when you could give like to buy a goat or to buy, all those different things. And so I did that for Christmas for the family and for anyone that was in my world. My husband nearly died when I did that, and I've never done it since. So I love the fact that all of you were on board on that, because I think that is just so powerful and so much more about the meaning of the season, to be honest, And I think what's beautiful about that is that it's an out focus, not an in focus. And so much of our world has become very in focus. What can I get for it myself? How can I make sure I'm safe and everything else around me is safe? And we're forgetting often, I had on yesterday on the decision table, I had Juliet, who's based in Zimbabwe. And, I was saying that I talk to her every month And every month let me tell you, I come off there and I go, wow, I've got to stop complaining about this. I've got to stop, because when you put on a different perspective, when you have a different lens in which you use, you realize there is just so much more and so much to be grateful for, so much that we do have to give, even when we have what may look like small in our hand. There's so much. And I think the other side of this is when we play. I know you and I, Sue, we love to play at a bigger level and to play big and go hardcore. I know our families freak out sometimes, and go, okay. And they're trying to run after us, but we do love to play in that space. And I think that is not a bad thing at all, because here's the thing, and I always say this, that as we increase the economic resources, the things that we have available to us, then we can also accelerate the giving. It's not one or the other. It's like we can give out of so much more as well. And I love that. And I love that that's a lens you guys use.
Absolutely. And you know what I found of late that's been really interesting? You know, what you say is so true. But I believe that I give to give, not to get anything in return. But you absolutely get something in return. Because when you give, it's just so beautiful to be able to give that what you get back is just something that money can't buy. It's the
dopamine. It's that dopamine.
It's just absolutely is. And, you know, it was funny, you know, only this morning again, you know, brain sometimes doesn't turn off. But, you know, there's a few people in my life that, well, around my life, you know, not sort of a lot directly, but that find everything a big problem, right? So,
yeah, you got some of those in your world? Ooh.
Yeah, I think everyone has some of them in their world. But, you know, everything is a big deal. And I think what happens is, I've also found in elderly, you know, a lot of people, you know, when, you know, as they get older, you know, they've got less to do, so they might worry about more things. Or if you're not working now, you know, you've lost your job or whatever that might be, or just just what is it that, you know, worrying about the small shit, you know, the small things, right?
Yeah.
I think that the answer to that is, you know, find a bigger problem. And if you don't have a bigger problem, find a bigger problem out there in the world that you can make a difference to. I think you could transform people's lives. I think that people that are stuck in depression, people that are stuck in anxiety, people that are stuck in a place that they don't like, go out there and find a bigger problem beyond yourself, because I guarantee your problem's not the biggest. I guarantee there's somebody else that's suffering more than you. And I guarantee that something will pull your heartstrings that will make you want to make a difference. And then by default will change your life. You won't be worrying about the crap that you're dealing with. You won't be worrying. I mean, gosh, we just published a book from a gentleman, Kwa, who is a double amputee. And you know, he is so, you know, much fun. He has so much message. And you sit there and you think somebody might be sitting there going, I've lost 2 fingers and their world's fallen apart. And he's a guy that's lost 2 legs and getting out there, making a difference and doing what he can to show people that you can still live life no matter what you dealt with. But he's been dealt with an issue, right? He can make a difference. But some people have got nothing wrong. Like, they've literally, honestly, their problems are just nothing to worry about. But they stress about them, right? So find a goddamn bigger problem out there.
I love it. Preacher Sue is in the house.
And it'll transform their life. They get out of goddamn depression because they've got nothing to be depressed about, and they'd find some cause. And I've actually know that through stories and people that I've worked with, that it actually is the truth. And when somebody is, say, maybe, for example, had post-traumatic stress or been depressed or had, you know, suicide in their life, and they've helped others, or they've lost a loved one and they're helping others, what happens by default is they get better.
Yeah.
You know, they feel better. they're helping others, but they feel better. So I just think that anybody out there, like you said, talking to this lady in Zimbabwe and realizing, gosh, that you yourself might go.
I don't have military on the back in the backyard kind of thing, ready to just pounce on you. I don't have a shortage to petrol and have to line up for hours to get your car filled, and hopefully there will be some petrol actually in there. I don't have the problem of going to the supermarket and not finding the food and all sorts of foods on the shelves. I don't have the problem that for me to get medical supplies, I have to go to another country, smuggle it in, and get it across the line so that I can have the medical, resources that I need. Like, there's just so much that
people get anxiety going to the shop because they don't have freaking toilet paper and they've gone nuts. Like, how many people get anxiety or get anxious because they might only have $50 left this week? That is nothing when you listen to problems like that. That's what I mean. Get it in perspective, people, and go, if I feel like I'm can't cope, find some other problems that are out there that are bigger than yours.
Find other problems that are bigger than
reflection yours. And go, what have I got to worry about now? What can I do to make a difference?
Correct. So if we pull that back into this lens of the need for a new approach to leadership, how can leaders be better at this? How can leaders be more giving? Have this, like, let's find problems bigger than myself, or like, what do you think? Got any insights around that?
Look, I just think it's like they say, it always starts at the top. I think, people say to me, you've got such a great relationship with your daughters, why is that? And it's like, well, you can't tell them what to do. I still can't tell them what to do. You can't tell them what to do. You just need to have open communication. So open communication is key. Getting them involved, because you know what, they've got some really good ideas too, and don't tell them, show them. So I think it's just about having that communication with maybe like within your team. Even if your team's you and a virtual assistant, which what I started with, it's just me and a virtual assistant. What could I do maybe in his, he was in the Philippines. What could I do to give back in his area? So he was seeing that I was giving back, not maybe directly to him, but something that meant something to him. So I would give back to some of the orphanages in the Philippines. So got him involved. Obviously, as we've grown, I've now got the rest of the team members involved. What touches, moves, inspire you? What did I do? I did it by example. So I think that you've got to, if you want to be the leader, and it can be clients, even like with with organizations like B1G1 and things like that, where they're businesses for good, so whether you're part of B1G1 or you're just a business for good, what can you do as a business or as a leader? And like I said, it could be just showing your kids. That was their idea this Christmas, not mine. Their idea. They said, we don't want anything. We want to just give to a project this year. I'm like, okay. I'm like, but don't you want, no, we don't want anything. Like I said, I had to, for me, it wasn't for them, it was for me. I had to give them some sanity. But it wasn't a lot. Typically, typically our Christmas tree's crazy. I'll buy during the year and then I'll forget what I bought and then I'll go buy more and then they get so much. I go, that's too much. But like, I forgot what I bought, right? But this year was just so good. They each had a present under the tree, just one beautiful present. Yeah. That was really something that Santa thought really that they would really. And it was just like I went and bought them all essential oils and put it in a big beautiful box. And they loved it because they said, oh gosh, I never go and buy a little bottle like that worth 40, 50 bucks a pop. But I just put everyone in there and I looked at each one, and one was for stress and one was for this and certain ones for Monique and the baby. And
so Michael was for stress when he's having to hang out with you 24/7?
His was and how to deal with all the females. And he's like, and guess what?
Exactly.
A granddaughter. So he's got Sanjay now, though. So him and Sanjay, you know, both engineering backgrounds, you know, they get to talk their engineering talk, so they're all good. But yeah, but
I love
know, I just think, you know, I just think it's just lead by example. So don't just go out there and tell people what to do. Do it, and they will follow. You know, if they don't follow, that's okay. Don't do it in order to convert somebody or have them follow you. Just do it because you want to do it, and then they will follow. And like I said, my team members, all my staff, my children, they've now gone and done it. Could you imagine, you know, when they were young? Oh, I think we did do a goat 1 year, or I think their uncle bought them a goat for their present or something. And, you know, it was like years ago. It's like they do the turnaround. It's like when I started to introduce like carrot sticks and that for lunch, and, you know, Anthony Robbins, because I cleared out the pantry, and now it's like they come back to me and go, what are you eating that for? Let's just get carrots.
It is those small changes, isn't it? It's those small shifts that help to shift to the bigger change and actual disruption of the pattern.
Lead yourself for the change you want to see, and then that's it. They will follow or they will not, but they will once they get it. And like I said, I think it's just sharing the message of that with people, like I said, that are struggling. I think, you know, my message is to really get out there and say to people, you can make a difference. And I do that already in the publishing house and the stories. I say to people, you know, someone says, oh, if I could just help one person, you know, one person around bullying, or one person around, you know, suicide, or one person around knowing that they can be confident within themselves, or, you know, overcoming fear, lots of things, growing their business, whatever it might be. I want to help more people. You know, for me, it's just about saying, well, just get out there and do it. But then, like I said, they then get so much themselves. You know, they get so much out of giving themselves. So I think, you know, you don't do it for that, but people need to realize that you get so much more than what you give, you know, back.
Okay, so here's the thing. We've got a lead. How are you going to lead if we look at Sue in 5-10 years' time? What kind of Sue are we looking at?
Oh, sitting back, a pina colada in hand. No.
Bali. Got it. I know. Beautiful place
be traveling,
Bali, private jet.
Will we be traveling by then?
I know. That's the huge question.
Look, I think for me, it will just be bigger and better, getting the message out there to more and more people. Getting, you know, for me, it's like, you know, I'm not there to, you know, to become, you know, famous or get out there. And I do it because I know that it has a means to the end. I know that when I'm out there and I'm sharing my message, and I know that I'm passionate about people sharing their messages, that the more that I get out there, the more that I'll get that person that just didn't maybe believe in themselves, that they could be the person that just impacts the world. So I look at all these authors and all these people that I'm helping with online courses and getting their message out there. That was my ripple effect. So rather than me just doing it, I'm helping others see their genius and see that they can make a difference. So for me, it's a ripple effect of getting out there more and more, so that more and more people can see that their message sharing forward, that they can be leaders within their own, you know, communities, and essentially just doing more of that. So I think for me, it's stepping out more, you know, now that I've built an amazing team around me this year, you know, I've now have people that have now taken on managerial positions that allows me to step back. So we've now got staff at the level where they're managing teams below them, so I don't now have to manage. So I've just got key people, so I can then get out there more and share more about, or give people more confidence to get their message out there. You know, and the, you know, I'm lucky in the aspect of what I do, because if I can then help these books get into more hands, then again, that ripple effect. Someone can pick up a book for $30. Everyone can pick up a book for under $30 and afford it. And that book can absolutely change someone's life. It doesn't need to be a $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 program. It can be a book. Everyone's got their knowledge out of their head onto paper. It's like the books that you've written. People can pick that book up, and you don't know what that's going to do. It could, because the one thing that I love about, books or anything, as you're watching stuff, the one thing that I've always found is, it's the saying that I've been saying a lot this week, is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Unless you give them a block of salt.
Oh.
And they have that, and then they want to drink.
Well, then we need to tell that, right? But what I mean by that is, you can say to somebody, this is what you could do, this is what you can always advise people, right?
Of course.
Tell them what to do. And I don't know about you, but no one really likes being told what to do, right?
I love it. I love being told what to do. That's my favorite. No.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I know. Hello. We both know.
No, I know. I knew that was a bit of sarcasm there. But what I love about a book is you're in your own mind, right? So when you read a book, you're making your own mind up. And the only way anyone can change is if they decide themselves, right? So when they decide, then change happens. You can do anything to help someone, but when they make that choice, I decide to because I decide to, right? It's not I decide to do this because she told me to do it, and I decide to do that because blah, blah, blah. I decide to do it because I decide to do it. And that gives you so much more power than I don't know if you've done that chocolate vanilla thing before. I'll drive you crazy. So 2 ice creams, chocolate, vanilla. Choose.
Vanilla.
Why did you choose vanilla?
Because I love chocolate. I don't like chocolate flavored things, so it was an easy decision for me.
Wrong. Chocolate and vanilla. Choose.
Vanilla.
Why did you choose vanilla?
I don't know.
No, wrong. Chocolate, vanilla. I'll only do it one more time because I know that we're running out of time. One more.
Fine. Okay, I wanted the chocolate one.
Why did you choose chocolate?
Because you told me to.
Okay.
And I love being told what to do.
Yeah. This could go on for like 3 hours, right? I used to have clients hang up on me, literally go clonk. Wow. I'm done. I don't care. I don't want any ice cream. But I'll tell you the fast version of this.
You know what was painful about saying that, less than about the fact that you wanted me to say that, was the fact that inside of me, it went against everything that I believe, because I actually really don't like chocolate ice cream. So I was like, she's asking me to have something I don't want. Like, that was my actual thinking inside of me. And so because it wasn't aligned with the way that my DNA is, my decision DNA, it was like everything in me going, I know she wants me to say this, but I really wouldn't. That's not a truth for me. That's how much things like that are so stuck in me.
Oh, well, I'll tell you.
My value system, my alignment with what I think and do. Oh, my gosh.
I'll tell you what, and believe me, I've done this for 2 hours with people. They've rang me back and gone, all right, and but I'll do the fast version with you. So when we say chocolate, vanilla, choose, and you choose chocolate, even if you said I choose none, why did you choose none? Because blah, 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 blah. So what's happening is you're choosing for a reason, because of this, because of that. So if you turn around and I say chocolate, vanilla, and you say vanilla, so say vanilla.
Oh, sorry, vanilla. I'm allowed to say vanilla. Yes.
So you chose vanilla. And when I say, why did you choose vanilla? I want you to say, because I chose vanilla.
Because I chose vanilla. Because I chose vanilla.
That's right. So it gives you no reason, no excuse. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? I chose vanilla because I chose vanilla. I chose lead because I chose to lead. I chose to give because I chose to give. I chose to make a difference because I chose to make a difference. We're not doing it because of someone else, because of this, because of that. And it just gives you the power back. And I think that, you know, I don't even know how we got here, but the point is that when
I never know how we get anywhere on the decision table. We just kind of.
It's only been.
I know, serious coffee, water. That's it.
We need to do this over wine. Like that could go crazy.
Okay,
right?
Next time, yeah.
But yeah, if you choose because you choose. So I think it's still aligned with leadership. It's like you choose to lead because you choose to lead.
Yeah.
You don't choose to lead because it's the right thing to do, because this is the latest thing to do, or the word, or how you should be doing. You just choose because you choose. And it just gives
okay, I'm going to stop you, because here's the thing. You choose because you choose. And I always say this, and you say that as well. There are people that find that really difficult. That is not their norm to be able to choose. And there's things that stop them. Some of those things that can stop leaders from being this or doing this is things like, hey, if I give voice to what I really want to choose, then I might get stomped down. I might get hate from that. I'm going to insult someone from that. If I choose the decision I want to choose because that's just a decision that I'm choosing, then this may have consequences on people in my world that then this affects. And that is, so it's an easy in theory. And for people like you and I who go, we are not budging from where we are going. For those that don't have it that strong, what I'm learning as I work with people across the globe more and more is that is a norm for us. It is not a norm often for many others. How do we start giving little shifts to help that become more of a norm where, I mean, I've got ways of doing that, but I'd love to hear, maybe 3 things that you would do to help move that along to that piece.
I think the first thing is choosing because you do choose, not choosing because because somebody else has said to do it. Stop and think, would you choose this first? So that's the first thing, is check in with you. Check in with you and go, do I choose to drink water?
Hey, by the way, I remember when a Kiwi said that, I'm going to go off on a little tangent, but I remember when a Kiwi said that when we were in Black Belt one time, and they go, oh yeah, I just want a chicken. And we were like, chicken? Why would you want chicken? And we were like, what? Chicken? And I was like, oh, check in. So just for those that may have had a communication moment there, check in or chicken.
I don't eat meat, so it's definitely not chicken for me.
Correct, it's not chicken.
So check in with yourself. Do a little bit of a thing, and with yourself, and go, okay, am I doing this for me? Is this something that I'm doing for me that's going to make me feel good, and I'm doing it for me, right? Because sometimes we have to be, and I have to remind myself, we need to be a little bit selfish. Selfish meaning that we've got to concentrate a bit on self, because I always say, if we're a great leader, people will follow. If we're a great parent, we need to be a good leader as a parent, so that the kids are following that path, rather than somebody else being a better leader or a better salesperson or whatever that might be. And but I think that is check in with you. The second thing is language. And that's why it's so important to choose because I choose, rather than choosing for a reason. Because then what you're doing is you're giving the power out there. So when I choose because I choose, the power's within me. So I feel stronger. I feel more certain in the decision that I've made. I've checked in. It's something that I feel is integral. It's something that I feel is not going to harm others. It's something that I feel is congruent to me. So I've checked in, and then I say I choose because I choose. And then basically even using the analogy of children. How many times, when you have children, people have a million different things, breastfeed, bottle feed. You know, I remember for me when I had Chloe, I ended up so sick. I ended up with mastitis. They wanted to put me back in hospital. I had 40 above degree. I was so sick. And I was like, no, I have to breastfeed. Breast dispense, I have to breastfeed. I'm failing. And then in the end, the stress that it caused me, I was so sick. There was, you know, I had nurses coming in, putting needles in like literally my nipples, trying to just horrible things. And but you know what I was doing it for? I wasn't doing it for me. I thought, yep, okay, I'm doing it for the baby. But I felt that the pressure that I got from the outside world. And it wasn't until I turned around and said, I choose to bottle feed because I choose to bottle feed. Yeah. And it changed everything. You know, for me, it's like I did my best. I needed to choose. Now, did I get all these, you know, people all the time, you know, saying this, doing this, that, all that? And I said, but I chose because I chose. And it's like, what do people come back with? Whereas I think the one thing that's really important is when you give reason, one, it's like you're not certain on what the decision you made, because you're giving a reason why you make that decision. The because is the reason. And so if you're giving someone a reason, then they're seeing your self-doubt. And then they're also then going, well, they can give you reason why back that you should change your mind, right? So you're giving reason, they're giving reason because they're trying to alter you. And I agree, going back to what you first talked about, this, you know, celebration, this tall poppy syndrome, this everything that we do to bring people down. I think that it's, if you show that vulnerability, if you show those reasons, it's easier for them to pull you down. I choose to do what I do because I choose what I do what I do. I choose with confidence that people go, well, she must know what she's doing because she's choosing because she's choosing.
And it brings certainty. Yeah.
It brings certainty to you. It brings certainty to others. And it also allows you to go, I choose because I choose. I didn't choose because because, oh my gosh, if someone chooses something different, that's okay, as long as they chose for them. They didn't choose because their mother told them, because someone else told them that they had to do it. And it's a bit like going back to that analogy of you've got to make the change yourself, you know, like we talked about, you know, the person themselves got to make the change. It's the same thing. If we choose, you know, it's like I chose to stop smoking. I mean, many years ago, it was like probably over 24 years or more ago. I chose to stop smoking because I chose to stop smoking. And when I gave myself that power, it just changed everything. If I stopped smoking because I didn't want my kids to see me smoking, because it wasn't good for my health, because of this, because of that, all of a sudden I was giving out all my power to everything else, everyone else's opinions, the right thing, the wrong thing, everything else. That's where all the power went, when I chose because I chose. So language is very important. So I choose because I choose. It gives me the power. It gives me the confidence. It gives me the certainty. And it gives me that, I suppose, the unconscious of going, I'm going to be integral in this. Why? Because I chose. I'm going to be integral and do that. So definitely language, and, you know, kind of bringing that all together. I think that, you know, it's all relevant to that. So check in, be the leader yourself, but choose for you, not for everyone else, because we're all going to have different opinions. That's why the world's exciting. No one's right or wrong, but just choose for you, not for what you need to do.
And that's why I'm creating these spaces to have these conversations, because I believe that we need to be able to have these conversations where we are just bringing it to the table and going, hey, this is the choice that I have. And because of this, you know, the domino effect of this has been, and the power of that has been, you know what I mean? And so sometimes I think we are so set that this is the way, and this is a kind of old school style of leadership or conversations that we go, this is how you're meant to have a conversation. This is where you're meant to go with this conversation. What's the outcome that you're going to have from this conversation? And it's like, I love these conversations. I really do, because who knows where we start to what happens in the middle to how we finish up. But I think what you've you know, what we have together had a conversation around today has just been so beautiful. It's brought in so many things about the importance of the language that we use, the importance of choice and giving, and what are some of the other things? Come on, pull them out. Tell me.
I think it's just yeah, like I said, if you're worried about things in life, find a bigger problem.
Celebrating the wins. It's
celebrating
bigger problems in yourself. Okay, so I do ask this question. I'm going to say mine first, because what have I got from this conversation? What's an insight that I have? What's maybe a thing that I'm going to do better in what I'm doing? I think that always when you have a conversation, there's something you can take out of it. For me today, it's there's two things. It's the bigger problem beyond your thing. I think there's so much power in using that as a strategy of and it reminded me of when I was told, hey, I've got this condition in my body, and then I worked out that there was a 1% chance that I would not have depression. And I was like, well, what if I can be that 1%? I'm going to be that 1% was my whole choice, right? Like I just chose to do that. Didn't know how to do that, just chose to do it. And what became a strategy that I used in that time was this, that anytime I started finding myself turning the direction from where I was feeling like positive and had value to add to this world, and I was starting to shift and look the other way, I actually messaged someone. I reached out to someone. I had a call, and I would go, hey, how are you doing? And I realized that there was always something I could give. And the other piece was that I was always grateful. I did my gratefulness. That's where I began doing that many years ago now. Every day, what am I grateful for? 3 things I'm grateful for in my last 24 hours, 3 things I'm grateful for in my next 24 hours. So just thinking about that and using that in a much bigger way in my work, I'm going to be bringing that up and bringing that on. And the other thing was the giving within your teams, or that knowledge of, and I do this to a degree, but I haven't intentionally been doing it in the last little while. And I'm, you know, that I run a couple of companies. And so I really want to get to know some of the others of what is important to them, and how can, you know, I love to give, but I love to give not at the times that, like Christmas, you know, you've got to give then. It's again that telling probably side of me, or I don't know. I think sometimes there's an expectation, and I like to give when I really want to give, because out of my heart, I'm giving. And I'm giving because I'm intentionally giving you something that I know is going to be really, something precious to you. So I kind of do a lot of that, and I want to do that more intentionally. So that's what I've got from our conversation. What about you? What are you taking from our conversation today?
I think it's just, you know, it's like being more aware of when things are working, when they aren't. Like you said, you know, when you got told that you couldn't walk and you had that 1%, you know, without even knowing, you actually just decided because you decided. You didn't know how, you didn't know what you had to do. You didn't know what that looked like. All you did was made a decision. Because you made that decision, that was it. I'm going to be that 1%. Mm-hmm. And I think that we don't realize the power in that. And I think it's just reinforcing that, you know, the decisions that we make, as long as there's something we're strong. And what I also think is that it builds a momentum. So like when you decide for yourself and you're not worrying about this tall poppy syndrome and everything else and worrying about what others think, it actually has you sustain as well. Because I think a lot of people are really great out there, but they do something for maybe a year and they stop. You know, yeah. I know you, Kira Marie, you've always been a person for giving and for making a change in the world. But because you decided that so strongly, it doesn't matter whether you've got, you know, 50,000 followers to right here. It's about deciding on something that keeps that longevity. It keeps that passion that there's no doubt you'll get to where you need to get. Well, I don't think there's ever an end in
Correct.
this.
It's forever evolving, right?
It's evolving, right?
Mm.
But I think that what I take out of it is not only not worrying about this tall poppy syndrome and just being the leader that we want to be, helps keep going as well, and helps us leave a trail behind us of other people that are coming up and leading and making decisions. And like these conversations, gosh, we had no prep. I don't know what you were going to ask me. Like, only prep I did is, can I grab a coffee? Like,
exactly. Me too.
Get out of bed early and stretch because I've done my back, and lots of ooh and an ah and an 8 from what you thought. It was But what I love is that you don't care that you're doing something different, that you're just making the conversations without that. You decided that this was the way you were going to do it, and you're just enrolling people. But I think it's just the longevity. So what I take out of it is, if you're clear on what you want to be as a leader, even when we do, leave this body, leave this time on earth, we should be leaving our legacy behind. And I think that we're not here just to have fun for ourselves or just to do what we do. It is about leaving a legacy, leaving children, grandchildren. If it's not that, leave something that helps others so that it's a better world as we part. So I think that leadership to me is, it's not just about now. Celebrating, definitely just reinforcing to celebrate for me, celebrate myself, and it causes that ripple effect with everybody else,
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so if people want to connect with you more, want to be a part of your journey and join you on this journey, how do they do that?
The easiest way is go straight to deanpublishing.com, and there is buttons everywhere that says speak to an expert, and that'll come through to a calendar and through to me. And I personally speak to every person at the beginning to make sure that, we can help bring their message to the world. And because for me, publishing is just, doing publishing of books and helping people get their online courses out there, and podcasts and audio books and all of the products and services that we help. They're all products, but the main thing is, how do I help someone get their message out to the masses? That's what the core of what I do is. And it just happens to be the products that I believe as a book, is an online course, as an audio book, as all these other products are just other forms, just like what we're doing today, other forms of getting your message out there. And I think that if you can get it into as many people's hands, you just don't know what difference you can make. So my goal is to get as many people out there to become those leaders, to get their message out there, because I guarantee that every single person has got something to share. And by doing that, just as we've talked about today, by default, they're going to get something back. My authors get messages from readers all the time that say, your book just changed my life. And if I can help people get their book out there, and that book's changing someone else's life, then to me, that's the ripple effect. And so, deanpublishing.com. Don't
worry, Chloe's onto it. She's already put it into the messages.
She's onto it.
Very onto it. I love that. Oh, my goodness. I celebrated Martin Luther's Day yesterday across the globe. Many of us did. If you were to leave your message to those that are listening today, what would that be?
Gosh, I think it's just that everybody, I think it's just reinforcing what I said. Everybody has something that they can give, a story, a lesson that they can share with the world. And if we can all share forward our teachings, if we can all share forward our life lessons, our knowledge, we can all make a difference in the world.
Oh, I love that. That was beautiful. Well said. Well, my friend, what a privilege it has been to have you on the decision table. I want to say personally, thank you for being in my world. You know, we go back. I will never forget you as a client and us doing that VIP day, that moment, because every time I see you with your background, I'm reminded of something that you began dreaming about in a big way from that day on. And you never stopped putting that dream into place. And I will remember, and it comes up as a picture on my phone as a reminder of you and I standing in your dining room in that beautiful mansion, and having our glass of champagne as we celebrated you and your family and the opening of, you know, what has begun. And I believe it's only the beginning of what you are producing there and bringing out of there. But I remember that day, going back to the VIP day, where you said, and I remember you hesitated. I will not forget that. You actually hesitated to verbally say it out loud. But I remember that moment that you said it out loud, and you said, if there was something that, if nothing was stopping me, it would be to do exactly what you're doing today and what you have there. And, you know, I love the fact as we have grown as friends, and, you know, you've had my back, which I've always appreciated. You've listened to my many crazy ideas and never gone, that's just stupid, Gary Marie. You've gone, hey, I'm here. What can I do? How can I support you? And so I publicly want to thank you for being an amazing friend of mine, having my back, and I want to publicly celebrate you and all the wins that you are having. I love watching as you keep evolving, and I'm really loving from our conversation today, watching how you're coming into it, and it's just becoming you. It sort of seeps out of, I always say your decision DNA kind of seeps out of you. And what I'm loving is you are so in your element. You are going to keep going forward. And I love being a part of your journey. So thank you for that. And thank you for coming here and being a part of this and just dropping some beautiful gems today throughout this conversation.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for having me. And yes, it's been from that dream chart and that design that we were doing. It's definitely has come to fruition. And I pulled out the dream chart, which is what I'd also done back there. And it's so funny how so much of it is, even the garden that, you know, I envisaged, everything has come to life. So yeah, I think it's for anyone, make the decision, get out there, speak it out, draw it out, and then just do whatever it takes to make it happen. But yeah, it's been my absolute privilege, and we've got each other's back. And
and next time we come on the decision table, we might have a glass of wine, so who knows where we'll go with that one. I've loved it. And anyone else,
after hours R-rated or something like that?
Yeah, maybe we'll have to do it a night one and make sure that, you know, all the kids are in bed, kind of thing. We've got amazing things from this conversation. You know, we shared what we got just as starters from this conversation. If you've loved this conversation, please, one of the fundamentals to creating a new approach, I believe, is awareness. And awareness comes when we can share the message out. So share this message out to your friends, to your people that you think may really benefit from hearing what both Sue and I have said today. And, you know, that's the way we get to help many other people and spread the good message out there. I think, you know, from awareness comes ownership. And, you know, we've owned what we're going to do and take with us from this conversation. What is it you're going to take from this conversation? Where do you want to go? I hope that, you know, in amongst our fun, our craziness, our distractions of many little conversations that you have got some insights that you can start thinking about and thinking on. And just know that none of us have it all perfect, because we would be flying around the room if we did, and none of us are. So I love the fact that you know, Sue, our conversation really brings back to me, which is so important to me, and that is the humanity as stakeholders at the decision table. And I think, you know, that is just today, we're just two humans having a great conversation and, you know, doing life together, which this is a journey. And so thank you for coming on the journey, and thank you for being a part of this. And anyone listening and in the replay, thank you for coming and being on this journey. So I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Bye.
Thank you.